Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. We're back in the studio for the first time in a while, and I'm back with my guy Quakes. How you doing, bro?
All good, brother. All good. How you getting on?
Mate, I'm fantastic, man. We're joined by a very special a guest. It's a friend of mine. It's Big John.
Damn right. Good to be here. Thank you guys for having me. How you not doing?
My guy over here is the self-proclaimed, what was it, best GK on social media?
Best
is that what it
GK
is?
on social media. Just get used to it.
I mean, off camera, he was really giving it a lot. He was giving it big, and guys. He was talking more than that. Was it Face of Soccer AM? Was it?
I never said face, but the
hands of
the hands of Soccer AM.
The hands of Soccer AM. Right. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, John. What else do you do on socials?
So I am currently the goalkeeper on social media that does a lot of videos with other YouTubers, TikTokers, influencers, footballers. I worked with a few people like the Sidemen, for example. That's usually the most common one. And I'm regularly on Soccer AM, and I play for a team called Under the Radar. So yeah, that's the most things you need to know about me, I think.
All right, I need to know one other question as well. Who's the best baller you've played against?
Oh, what a good question. You know what? I think I've got to put Ronald de Boer up there.
Okay.
The one that used to play for Barcelona.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Absolute different gravy on the ball. You just wouldn't expect it. You would think that, maybe, older player, whatever. But yeah, really good player. David James was pretty decent, especially for his age. That guy can still fly. So yeah, there's definitely been a few names that I can think of. Maybe Tammy Abraham as well. Went to school with him. Yeah, he was always class.
I mean, well, if anyone doesn't know, obviously, John's a big Chelsea fan. Quakers is a Chelsea fan as well. So I'm massively outnumbered here today. Videographer behind the camera, say hi, man. Yeah, he's a Chelsea fan as well. Do you know what I mean? There's too many Chelsea guys in one building, man. What is it? Chelsea fans spoil the broth. Too many Chelsea fans? Too many Chelsea fans spoil the broth. Is that what it is?
That's not a real saying. That's not a real saying.
What are you talking about?
That's not a real saying.
All right. Well, let's get to the video anyway. The crux of the, why we even got John in the studio today. Obviously, John's a goalkeeper, and we're in the shadow of the latest England squad being selected. There's a few key omissions from the squad, but we want to talk goalkeepers today and get your expertise. So obviously, the three in the squad at the moment are Dean Henderson, Nick Pope, and Aaron Ramsdale. Obviously, because of injury, Jordan Pickford has missed out on the squad. Who's England's number one right now?
Oh, very good question. I mean, realistically, I think everybody knows that when all healthy, Jordan Pickford is the usual number one, whether that is for ability or if that's just something that Gareth Southgate just trusts in. He is clearly a different type of animal when it comes down to actually playing in the big tournaments. But I think the other three that are there is really close. I know it shouldn't be on paper. I know that Ramsdale, of course, doing amazing with Arsenal. They're top of the league as of the time that we're speaking. And, Nick Pope's been doing well with Newcastle. And then Dean Henderson, I know that you definitely know how it feels like. He's definitely put up a few performances this season.
Yeah.
Save Declan Rice's penalty. Love to see that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So this is what I mean. Too many Chelsea fans here remind me of West Ham's downfalls, and there's been enough, guys. I'm down already. Right, you don't need to kick me even further. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's actually quite close between the four of them. If we're going on form, you'd probably say Aaron Ramsdale above the four.
Yeah.
But Jordan Pickford, like other members in this squad, maybe not in the best form, but what he has done is he's done it for England in the past across major tournaments, and he's been a mainstay in Gareth Southgate's squads. And a lot of people would say, I don't know if it's a lazy comparison or a lazy assessment, but a lot of people call him a tournament keeper because he has that larger than life character, that authority from the back where he's essentially marshalling the back line into shape and shouting matches with the fans and whatnot. So yeah. For me, I think Jordan Pickford is probably number one, but I would love to see Aaron Ramsdale. I think there's too many holes in Nick Pope's game. I actually really like Nick Pope. I wanted West Ham to actually go for him, but I think there's some people in media that would say that he isn't the best with his feet.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well that would translate into an England side. Dean Henderson, I really like Dean Henderson. Like you guys said, obviously he's had a good performance against West Ham, but he's done well in a Nottingham Forest side that could be destined for relegation this year if he doesn't perform the way he's doing right now. So, Quakes, what are you thinking, bro?
Well, John kind of mentioned it in terms of Jordan Pickford's reliability, and that's the best type of ability: reliability and availability. Obviously, he's not in this recent England squad because of injury. But when it comes to tournament football, he's provided some of the best performances we've seen from an England keeper at a major tournament. You and him have got something in common. You've both saved Jorginho penalties before.
Damn
Obviously,
right.
He did it. He did it in the final of the Euros. You did it off camera. Or was it off camera or was it on camera?
It was on camera.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the description so people check out John saving Jorginho's penalty. But Jordan Pickford, when it comes to major tournaments, he's a serious man. And we've seen with Gareth Southgate, when he picks these squads, he picks people he can rely on. There's a reason why Harry Maguire has been selected for the latest England squad. And there's a reason why Jordan Pickford's always selected and always is England's number one. So there are other keepers that maybe are putting in better performances this season, but I think it's quite harsh to say that Pickford has not been informed this season. Remember the game, the Merseyside derby, he pulled off a string of incredible saves.
100%, yeah.
He's now got the captain's armband in terms of when Seamus Coleman isn't playing at Everton. So he's established himself as England's number one. He's established himself as a key player for Everton, and so there's no reason to rock the apple cart. And when it comes to the Qatar 2022, I fully expect Jordan Pickford to be between the sticks.
100%.
I mean, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. I think we've all got probably our personal favourites of who we want to see there, but I think we all are in agreement that Jordan Pickford is probably going to be the starting goalkeeper, and I think rightfully so, because across the last two tournaments, it's tried and tested, proof's in the pudding. And if he's in goal, I'm not necessarily unhappy.
I think Ramsdale's definitely a very good replacement if Pickford's not available. He's a player that's great with his feet, good shot stopper. I know that sometimes people question that online on how much it's there for the cameras or actual ability, but I think great goalkeeper, he showcased what he can do with Arsenal. And realistically, I know that he did have not the greatest of games maybe against Hungary, but I think to define him off that one performance, also, I think he's definitely somebody that even maybe, if not in this tournament, definitely has a big future with England for sure.
I'd say that he's definitely the number two. He's got incredible ability with his feet. Again, we've seen him make some great saves for Arsenal. I'm not too sure about his decision-making and his shot-stopping ability. I feel like Pickford's a better shot-stopper than him. I feel like Nick Pope's a better shot-stopper than him. But his ability with his feet is what really sets him apart. And we've seen how well he's performed for an Arsenal team that are flying high at the moment this season. So I feel like he's probably the long-term successor to Jordan Pickford, but I think it might just come a little bit too early for him in terms of this World Cup.
Do you know, my favourite thing about Aaron Ramsdale is actually off the field. I love how, I'm not an Arsenal fan. Anyone who's like a long-term listener of this podcast knows I don't like Arsenal, but I like how Arsenal he is and how anti everyone else is. I like how he's there to give the fans a bit of needle and stuff like that. I like that. I mean, I don't like it when it's against West Ham, but I do like that he has a bit of grit about him, and I feel like as a goalkeeper you need that. I think I look at Nick Pope, and Nick Pope just looks like a nice guy. He just looks like
What I will say though with that is that we've seen that kind of tip over the edge in major tournaments. Mainly thinking about Joe Hart getting over aroused, getting a bit too pumped up for it, and it leading to the demise of not only himself but the England team. So there's a fine line that you do need to tread, and I feel like Jordan Pickford's kind of found that happy space where he gets up for it, he's G'd up, he gets the defenders up for it, but also he knows when to mellow and calm down. And he was probably one of England's best performers in the final of the Euros. And I feel like Ramsdale, maybe we saw it in the All or Nothing documentary, he feels it, especially when he concedes a goal. And sometimes it is for cameras, but I feel like he kind of needs to find that fine line where it's benefiting the team, but it's also benefiting himself, because sometimes I think he does just go over the line a little bit.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. I would say like a lot, just to jump on that and play devil's advocate, I think a lot of those arguments were actually aimed at Jordan Pickford, maybe prior to those two last tournaments that he's had as well, where people are questioning whether he will boil over, and ultimately let the team down. But I suppose he was given the opportunity. Granted, the competition at that point probably wasn't to the level that it is now. But yeah, I think we're dancing around the same point. I think we're all in agreement that Jordan Pickford needs to be there. Hopefully, this injury isn't too serious and he can get back to playing football soon.
I think that could be in December. I think that could be the deciding factor of how well England does in the tournament, because realistically, it's one of those tournaments as the Euros the same. It's like a knockout tournament. Literally any game that you play could be your last. So realistically, it's one of those things where, can you afford to bring somebody like Ramsdale into this scenario? And say, for example, if it is a big occasion, do you feel like he'll be able to be there for every single game to that same energy? I mean, it's something that we have seen with Pickford, and I hate to say this, but at the end of the day, it does make a big difference when you've already been at that stage before, and they've reached the semi-finals of the World Cup. They reached the final of the Euros, and it's you can't really get bigger than that for both tournaments, except for winning it, I guess. And that's my only fear with the other three goalkeepers is would they be able to step up to that occasion? I think they haven't been tested enough maybe to those bigger games just yet. But I think only time can tell just how well they might do with that.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head there, John. I've got one question for the both of you, just to surmise this video very, very quickly. So we're all in agreement that it's probably going to be Jordan Pickford for the welfare of the team, and just hopefully if they can succeed, it's probably going to be with Pickford starting in goal. But I want to know, out of the four, who is the best goalkeeper?
Ooh, good question.
I think it's Jordan Pickford. I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism, maybe because of his personality and the way that he is, but I think that he's proved it for long enough in the Premier League since he moved from Sunderland to Everton that he is, if he's not world class, he's maybe in the tier below that. And for England, he's always performed, which is the highest level. International football, in my opinion, is the highest level. We've seen England, or he's played for England in a World Cup semi-final, like John said, and the final of the Euros, saving a penalty in the final of the Euros. So I think Jordan Pickford is the best out of all of them, but I do think Aaron Ramsdale's coming.
Yeah, I would agree and echo that. What about you, John?
Yeah, I think I've got to say the same. Realistically, I think there's a lot of criticism in his game, maybe based off more how the team is performing and not all the time about his ability. I know that he has had questionable performances at times for Everton, but there's been plenty of games where he's, saved the team massively. I know one of them I remember was Chelsea versus Everton at the Bridge last year. I was at the game and I was literally the most depressed I could probably be just based off his performance alone. And I know that it's something that you might get from, all those goalkeepers realistically, but I think it's just one of those things that I would feel the most comfortable with him in goal, I think, out of the four.
Yeah. I think we're all with you there, man. And at the end of the day, football's coming home and Jordan Pickford's going to be in goal for us. But in the meantime, John, where can they find you on socials, man?
They can find me they can find me on Instagram on Jancev27.
How's that spelt?
JANCEW 27.
Links in the description, guys.
And also on TikTok, which is JancevGK, JANCEWGK. There you go.
Love that. And Quakes, where can they find us?
All right, you can find us on Instagram. It's at We Talk Football Podcast. We're on Twitter at WTF Podcast 90. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more videos very, very soon.
Love that, guys. Oh, and we're on TikTok as well. So go and like our shit on there as well. Catch you next time.
Hashtag
See you
new
later.
generation.
Hashtag new generation, yeah.